Hey guys, Mustached here, aka Mustached. Welcome back to some more Death Stranding. As I said last time, I will be making actual progress. Been kind of doing mini quests or whatever. So we're gonna go this way. If you end up enjoying this part, consider joining my Patreon page and all that good stuff. It's greatly appreciated. Alrighty, yeah, here to figure out what's on this side. Make actual progress. Yeah, 58 likes for me. I wish I got that attention on my YouTube. Wow. Even that shit out. You get some likes. Moshi moshi.
Gonna catch a ride on that boat, Sam? Before you do, be aware that you'll have to leave behind any cargo you haven't gotten around to delivering. It'd be a shame to abandon something important, though, especially if you were close to finishing a run. My advice, put that stuff in your private locker in Fort Knot City. Or, if you're feeling responsible, you could just delay your boat trip until you've tied up loose ends. It's your call.
I don't think I have anything that's quest-based, so... we good.
Snack?
Ah, where'd you come from?
You came through then.
I don't break that easy. Name notwithstanding.
Fragile, I see.
He's the leader of a separatist group.
Seemed to me like he was controlling that BT.
That's level 7 for you. Higher, maybe.
Seems like you know a lot about him.
Used to work together. Guess you could say we had a contract.
You did business with terrorists? Whoever pays, huh?
He wasn't like that back then.
So what's your angle? You want to save the world, or you want to fuck it all up like him?
Yep.
I just wish things were different, alright? Here's alright.
Big ass boat. Fragile Express.
Don't worry, she still floats. Come on, we're the only cargo left.
Episode 3, Fragile. Alrighty.
We should get there tomorrow.
Baby. Oh, speaking of that, I saw 2 scenes with the other guy. One where he was drinking, and the other one he was like, "Oh, you take care, BB." It seems really important, but oh well.
I told you before, Sam. The past just won't let go.
What are we looking at here?
Listen, I have something to ask of you. It has to do with that asshole. Higgs.
It's a tide.
Sam. Sam.
Do you remember?
What the hell?
It's almost time to go, Sam. I had no idea until you told me. No idea that I was alive. Living is no different from being dead if you're all alone.
Oh, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home.
Here, it's a dream catcher. Wear it when you sleep, and I'll keep the nightmares away. I'll always be with you. Did you forget how to go home? Come on, I'll take you halfway, and then you can do the rest by yourself.
Okay,
Better
now I'm confused.
I'll be waiting for you on the beach. Come and find me.
What the fuck am I watching here? Is this time travel? Is this the mom instead of her, but she just looks like the sister or
We
whatever?
used to play together a lot in this place.
Did
You
she
brought
not?
me here. I couldn't make the trip on my own.
Did he age more than her?
So long as you have a body to return to, you can't come and go as you please.
So you can't just come back east through here.
Not until you make us whole again, Sam. I'll be waiting for you on the beach. Come and find me.
Well then. Not sure what that's all about. What a mysterious thing to happen. Alright, bit of a load here. Bit of a load, come on.
I don't know how you sleep. Need to pick me up? Welcome to Lake Knot City.
Hooray.
What?
Nothing.
Let's go. This cargo is from Port Knot City, bound for Lake Knot. I'll leave these up to you. The
Okay.
dispatch terminal is up ahead. In the meantime, I've got some business to attend to. Later, alligator.
Hey. Move on ahead. Uh-oh. Trying to avoid copyright here. Oh boy. Damn it. One game. It's just like, oh, it's so frustrating every time. Let's see. Look at the second half of the United States. Alrighty. Big old cave system. Wow, this game actually has a chapter 3. And it seems to have even more so. Alright. Do our check-in on the new base. See if the music has stopped. Sure has. Easy enough.
Welcome. You're watching your phone the whole way. I hate to be a hard ass, but I've got to ask. Everything you're transporting on board? Nothing dangerous or illicit? I'm sure they checked you on the way in, but I'm gonna have to take a second look.
I gave
All
you
clear. Not picking up anything unusual.
what I was
Cargo looks great,
told
too.
to give you.
Been a while since we got some of this stuff.
Woo! The amount of materials that can be used has increased.
Sorry for the hassle. Can't be too careful these days. Oh, we heard you were carrying a Cupid. Is that right? You cleared to lick us out.
Here we go. Get it all floaty. Let's get floaty. No! Alright, we got some of our stuff. Oh, we got a BT warning. Yes.
So we're finally on the network. Long time coming. We won't hold anything back. Capital Knot City will get everything. If all this info sharing makes everyone safer, I'm all for it. You can bet I'm not the only one here who feels that way. I suppose it was better when Bridges 1 first came this way. At least I don't remember terrorists and BTs making our lives difficult back then. Well, be careful out there. The world's not what it used to be. And thank you.
Finally made it past ground zero, Sam. Congratulations. And thank you. It'll only get harder from here, though.
Oh no.
When we first came through, it was different. Peaceful. The three cities out there, Lake, Middle, and South Knot, were all on board with our plans for reconstruction. Fragile Express was contracted by all three and kept supplies moving, and people connected. But that all changed a year ago, when the Separatists carried out their attacks. One took out Middle Knot City. They detonated nukes from the old base.
Jesus.
Half of South Knot City went under the other. Casualties were devastating. Bridges doesn't have the resources to link up the remaining cities on its own. We need to secure the support of everyone, even those who want nothing to do with the UCA. Impossible as that may seem.
The situation has changed dramatically since Bridges 1 first went west. The destruction of Middle Knot in particular forced us to adapt a new strategy. It's like Amelie said, we don't have the time or resources to construct another knot on that scale. That's why we've taken to cutting deals with preppers and the like.
Okay.
Our only recourse is to utilize their shelters to bolster the strength of the network.
Takes a special kind of person to live out here on their own. The kind that'll tell us to fuck off if we ask them to join the UCA.
Oh, we know. No one's expecting them to say yes up front. But even if they don't like dealing with most people, they got on okay with Fragile Express.
Now tell me, you want us to use her credentials to get in good with them?
Bingo. She's agreed to it too.
And in exchange, she gets...
Nothing really. Chance to get back at Higgs, I suppose.
Huh.
Can't blame her for wanting one. He took everything from her and then some. Time healed some wounds, but not hers. The work ahead won't be simple or easy, but it needs doing. Get some rest for now. We'll talk more later.
Okay.
Your work is great.
Back at the base. It's time to chillax. More sleep. Yeah.
Here. For me, it's called a key proof. It means not in old words. You can also use it to count stuff. I add a knot when I make a friend.
Okay. Then how about I add another knot every time I see you?
Explaining
This
the
must
obvious
be very
stuff.
important to you if you were able to bring it here. Very special.
It is special. I made it for you.
I'll treasure it, Sam. Something to eat?
Damn it, stop doing that.
Why are you here?
Ask your boss man.
No. I mean, why are you here?
Got a delivery for a porter. You're gonna need this on the road ahead. This will ID you as an associate of Fragile Express. It's woven from my blood and chiral crystals. Think of it as a kind of
Duh.
bond. Preppers around these parts won't give you trouble so long as you've got it. We were the only people making deliveries out here. This was our territory. Until Higgs fucked it all up. Me, the Express, our reputation, all of it.
Now you want to fuck him back. On your own.
I'm not on my own. The cave, Port Knot City, next to your bed. So far apart, yet somehow we keep meeting. All that BT country in between where I should have been caught in the void out. Yet here I am. Here I am.
You can use the beach.
I have a beach. You've got yours. I've got mine.
Duh.
I use it to jump across space. I can't conjure out BTs the way Higgs can, but I can go after him, chase him to the beach. Problem is, everyone's got their own way in. I'm only allowed to pass through the beach I know and understand. I'm sure you've heard the term multiverse.
Oh god, things are about to get complicated.
You alright?
The jumps take a lot out of me. Set my blood dry. You're going to Edge Knot City, right? Place is full of terrorists. But if you're dead set on it, then you're gonna have to deal with Higgs sooner or later.
Look, I make deliveries, killing monsters and terrorists. It's not what I do.
What if we did it together? I could use my power to help you.
Ooh.
We don't have to want the same thing to be on the same side. I could send you across my beach.
What?
To any place the chiralian's thick enough. Any place connected to the chiral network.
What do you expect in return?
I expect you to think it over.
Oh, okay.
Here. Call it an incentive. And call me if you need me. This will keep us connected. See you when I see you.
A bam. Fast travel. Oh boy. Hey Sam, can't tell you how good it is to see you coming over the water on the boat. First time we've welcomed so much as a turd in. Well, it must have been 2 years now. Some folks were even saying everything east of Ground Zero's, Metal Gear reference, must have been wiped out completely. The occasional message drifted in the out from out HQ, but people, not a one. We've give half We'd half given up on the Cupid ever being finished on the second expedition, the whole shebang, and then you showed up, and with a working Cupid to boot, our knight in shining armor. Sorry, don't mean to sound like I'm not grateful. I am, but I am more than you know. Every single person here was waiting for you, someone like you to come along. There will be more waiting west out of here, a lot more. You best go find them. Jake Wind. Dear Sam, how's it going? Still heading west? We're rooting for you. We were part of the second group, so we never got to speak with Amelia face to face. Caught the occasional hollow message from, but that was about it. Still, little bit helps to keep us going. Sure, she's just like her mother. Uh, Tough, clever, easy on the eye, too. Won't lie and say I didn't notice, but what really resonated with us was that fire she carries, that conviction. Same as Bridget. Any one of us would have laid down our lives in service to her vision. I suppose this is a long winded way of saying we ought to move on and meet her like we never got to. And when you do, tell her that we're all still believers in her cause. And her mother, you'll do that, won't you? Still keeping on, Sam? Me, I've been practicing going outside, longer and farther each time. Thought I'd conquered my fears at some point, that I'd make deliveries like nobody's business before long. That was before I wandered into mule territory for the first time. I panicked and dropped damn near everything I was carrying. Guess it belongs to them now. That little hiccup aside, I've managed to put up a few signs and watchtowers and other stuff I figured guys like you might appreciate, so it's not like it's all bad. Haven't met any other porters face to face yet, but I can tell they're liking what I've done as much as they given me likes. Oxy and smart drugs might help you level me out, but I tell you, when someone hits you with that, like, it's a feeling like no other. That confirmation that you've made a positive difference in someone else's life, it's grand, man. Anyway, good luck with everything. Sending you all the loves and likes. Hey Sam, was thinking I ought to report back to you on how we were doing over here. First things first, the Cairo network blew my mind. It's so much better than what I was expecting. The latest news from Capital not way station dispatches and distro center updates in real time without any lag whatsoever. What's more, we can now rely on generator power to keep us online. That alone is real game changer. We can send and receive all kinds of supplies too, even without the help of porters like you. As long as we've got the raw materials, the Cairo printer can provide us with most anything we need. You should see the skyline here, cranes all over the place. The city's turned a corner, if you ask me. To be honest, it almost brings a tear to my eye to see how far we've come. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. The important thing is that it's all going to get much better than expected. Catch you later, Sam. Data. Any interviews? Bridges HQ. Before the Stranding, before the Stranding, the whole world was connected. There were networks, social networks, we called them. The people used to communicate all the time. They shared all sorts of stuff through them. A random thought, a pretty picture, a home movie, you name it. And if you liked something that someone else had uploaded, you gave them, you let them know by giving them, well, a like. Sounds weird. I know, but that's the truth. Eventually, someone ran tests on the users of these networks and discovered that receiving a like treated a rush of oxytocin. The theory was that it stems from a sense of being acknowledged, even though you couldn't see the person you were interacting with. It still felt like they were accepting you, praising you, and who wouldn't like that? But the same process is at the heart of the Mule phenomena. It's believed that the over-dependence on the oxytocin rush provided by these kinds of interactions is a factor in porters going rogue. With this in mind, it wouldn't be wrong to characterize mules as oxytocin addicts. In essence, they're social animals at the mercy of validation. Let's see, dolphins use a sensory mechanism known as echolocation to keep track of both their fellow pod members and potential prey. As the name suggests, they produce sound which bounce off objects and return to echo as echoes, allowing them to get an idea of their surroundings. Interesting in and of itself, of course. But what I find far more interesting is it's the recent research suggesting that BBs use a similar method to detect BTs. As you know, BB pods are designed to mimic the conditions inside a human womb and are key to preserving a BB's connection with the world and the next. While recent research now suggests that BBs are capable of producing something not unlike a dolphin's sound waves, these pulses travel through the autonomic fluid and out of the other side, bounce off BTs and return to echoes, allowing to BB to ascertain the locations of threats. Pretty cool, right? Oh, that's why in like, you've seen the thing, like all these things, like, you see people talking to their babies, when they're not. Oh, damn it! I didn't see which ones I didn't read. I went down too fast. It was one of these two. See, life began in the oceans as it gradually graduated to the land, at least. That's what I believed until recently. To the creatures of the sea, the land is a harsh and unforgiving place. Given this, what could possibly have compelled these organisms to make such a drastic transition? Consider the fossils of the first fish to adapt themselves to land have been found in regions with unusually a large tidal range. Could it be that these creatures develop legs in order to swiftly return to the safety of the sea when stranded? Could their stationary leap have been triggered by the traumatic experience? If so, could similar circumstances have shaped the evolution of the coral-like organisms that inhabit the sea? And driven to develop an ability to life and death, between time and timelessness. Coral is, after all, older than any organism of the land, and hardly enough to have weathered the mass extinction of 54 million years ago, and it is a life form upon which many other organisms rely for survival. Bearing all that in mind, one could argue that the ability to survive in the sea is indicative of profound evolutionary leap. See, this one's about void outs. I've come across a number of old reports which makes mention of humans who have certain powers which led them to becoming known as repatriates. As we know, when a human and a BT come into contact, a void out results, which is analogous to what physicists would term an annihilation event. These events occur when matter meets an antimatter, and mass is converted violently and abruptly into energy. The process is highly efficient, though some energy is lost in the production of neutrons. Similarly, in the void out, vast amounts of the energy are released, resulting in destruction of a devastating scale which leaves behind a large crater. Void outs, triggered by contact with repatriates, however, consistently result in smaller craters. It is suspected that they become that is because energy is lost to the beach and is the same matter that is lost in neutrino production in a conventional annihilation event, and that is in the case of repatriates. The amount of energy lost is particularly high. That said, however, the repatriate's body survives intact is a far bigger mystery, one of which I will refrain from commenting on until I have had a chance to examine one in flesh. One notably repatriate is Sam Strand, a former member of Bridges, who left some years ago and have been making his way in the world as a porter ever since. I do hope I get to meet him someday, considering how invaluable he could be in advancing our understanding of the true nature of beaches in the Death Stranding. And finally, preppers. When I was a little girl, my father told me that the preppers were people who decided long ago that they couldn't trust their nation to be there for them anymore, that the bonds between us had grown weak long before Death Stranding. Once we had a network spanning the whole wide world that could send items from anywhere to anywhere and connect anyone to anything, but still we were isolated. We were alone. Someone like it that way and even wanted more. They wanted walls along their borders, wanted to turn away refugee. Oh, oh, I wonder who that's referring to. Refugees and outsiders. Some even wanted new nations all on their own. They began to see the state as an enemy of their freedom, not a protector of it. The ones most far gone, they didn't trust the country to defend them if someone really went wrong. War, terrorism, natural disaster, you name it, so they built shelters and stocks full of supplies in preparation for the worst. And then the worst happened, the Death Stranding. America ceased to exist. Their shelters became their homes, where they would live and they would die. But while they hadn't prepared to live there forever, which is why they wound up on relying on couriers so heavily. My father and I didn't want to go back to the old America. We didn't want a country that pushed people apart. We wanted one that brought them together, that allowed them to support one another. And that was what we worked to try to work toward. Oh, there's more. I'm gonna carefully scroll down. Alright, there we go. When I first laid eyes on the lake here at Ground Zero, I was blown away by the sheer size of it. I never imagined anything could be so huge. This was just after the Death Stranding, and not so many people had seen the craters close up yet. Back when I was still living with my parents and my brother on the East Coast, an explosion like nothing the world had seen before tore a gaping hole in the heart of America. There were still all kinds of rumors floating around at the time that it was a meteor, that it was a nuke dropped by another country. I was just a kid, even even I could tell that the adults didn't have a clue. So you can imagine how I felt. And then we found out that there had been other explosions, not just here in America, but the world over. By the time we learned they were void outs, and the void outs were the country was pretty much done. But hey, that was then, and this is now, and things are looking up. I just told my kid brother's still alive. Word is he's heading up a corpse disposal team in Capital Knot City. Handled his shit well enough to get picked for the second expedition. 3 more years and he'll be out here with me. Can't wait to see him again. Oh no. Dooms in the Zodiac. Astrologers like me are used to having our work dismissed, incorrectly of course, and unscientifically mumbo jumbo, but since Just Stranding, more and more people have started to take an interest in what's known as uh, astrology, a discipline that combines astrology with various forms of psychology. The fact that each person has a beach to which they are spiritually connected has doubtless contributed to this trend. These days, there are people, even psychotherapists, who have astrological techniques in their counseling sessions. Perhaps the most interesting recent development of all, however, is the discovery that the alignment of celestial bodies at the moment of one's birth can influence one's relationship, with the condition known as dooms. Of course, Carilium in the Earth's atmosphere means that it's difficult, dare I say impossible, to actually observe the constellations at any point. To come to the conclusion that they that they therefore have no effect upon human lives, however, would be a foolish error indeed. Whew, alrighty. Let's go ahead and give that a big old save. Alrighty, and that's where we're gonna call it for today. We'll explore and save more of America next time, but if you enjoyed this part, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. We'll head over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Until next time, everyone, bye bye.